And were there maybe any songs that you were trying to play along to? Maybe not Rush songs, but other songs?
Oh yeah. There was I used to play along to Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and even Rush. A few songs like Kid Gloves and the Body Electric and some of their stuff, but not to any great extent. Not really.
No, I was wondering, is there one song that you still recall that was really hard to learn for you when you were growing up, drumming wise?
Yeah, we tried a bunch of times to play XYZ from the Moving Pictures album, and that one's always been kind of tricky.
What part?
The whole song.
The whole song, okay.
Yeah, but of course there are trickier parts than others. But
can you explain why it is a hard song?
It's hard. I think to some extent because it's so much based on a feel. It's a band playing and not to a click or anything. So it's like a lot of it. Okay. It's like the movement between those three people, that trio, and they're kind of sinking in with each other. And it's not to a straight clock or anything. So sometimes it's hard to get those like the pauses and everything down because it's more just played on a whim, on a feel, more than on something like a strict guideline as far as tempo and so on. So that makes it difficult, of course.
Because I was thinking because on this new album, the song "Bleed" was a really hard song to learn.
Yeah.
How did you start that song? Can you explain? I mean,
you mean that very track? How I started learning? The problem for me initially was to get the very pattern that the whole song is kind of based on. That part is, for me, it took a lot of time just to kind of. Being able to play that properly because it's really hard. I use triggers for that song live just to get the strokes more even because it's really hard to play them at even strength. Because what you do is you play like a double stroke with your right foot. It's like... So it tends to sound like this instead of... So therefore we use a trigger for that song live. And that... I just basically had to kind of change my approach to how I played the bass drums because I always used to just like pummel like really hard kind of and only like single strokes. And for this one, it kind of, I don't play as hard on the kicks. It's more of a tap dancing thing almost. You kind of lift your feet up.
More the groove, yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily that, but I don't put a lot of weight like forwards on the pedals. Like some songs I kind of lean onto the pedals and I hit it really hard. But on this one it's more I kind of lean back more and you kind of keep your feet in the air and it's more like tap dancing like. Yeah. So you play it softer but in a more fluid way. So that was a main thing for me to kind of get that playing down to where I felt comfortable with it. And then of course the further in you get into the song, the more it's broken up into different segments and stuff. So there's also a challenge in that, like the different like the cycles that go on later on the song. But the main obstacle for me was to just learn that basic pattern. So I probably, that song alone, I think I spent probably as much time on that track alone as I did all the other tracks combined on the new album. That's pretty much how much time it took for me to learn how to play that track.
But did you know beforehand when you were rehearsing the song maybe that it took that much time? I mean, did you really try to challenge yourself with this song?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it was one of those songs that we didn't know if I was gonna be able to do it. So for a few months we didn't know if we were gonna have it on the album or not. So we didn't really count on it initially, but luckily I pulled it off and it turned out and turned into a great song, and it's probably one of the strongest tracks on the album, just because it's such a significant kind of riff, you know.
But also because of the drumming, I think.
But the riff and the drums, the way they're played makes it kind of stand out. So of course we're really happy that you know we ended up being able to play it, so to speak. So.
And once you have to learn it, but can you play it now when I wake you up in the middle of the night? Can you play it immediately, or is it something that you really have to learn still
No,
every night?
no. By now it's
Okay.
fairly easy to play it. You know, usually, it's sometimes live. It happens on occasion that you kind of lose yourself at parts, and it's kind of hard to get back into it if you do that. But
Yeah.
but normally there's not a lot of problems with that song now. Yeah.